Hi, welcome back. Today I'm actually going to be talking through how I do my eyebrows. I actually had a couple of questions about this and I thought this would be the perfect time because right around now I would be heading over to my local threading salon to be getting my eyebrows done. But since we are unable to leave the house, that's not gonna happen. So I put together a little at-home grooming tutorial, I guess you could say, on how I, from time to time, groom my eyebrows at home when I'm unable to make it to the salon. And so, you just need a couple of things that you probably already have on hand, and then I'm going to take you through how I fill in my eyebrows from day to day. So if you're going to be grooming your eyebrows at home, a couple of things that you're going to need. You're going to want some tweezers, some eyebrow scissors to do some trimming at the very end. You'll want to get, obviously definitely a spoolie to brush through your brows and kind of help guide the shape that you want. And then you're gonna want like a dark eyeliner, or you can use your eyebrow pencil to make like a stencil of sorts. And so you'll see what I mean in a couple of moments. But I went ahead today and I actually used just the defining wax that I use to fill in my brows, but feel free to use like an eyeliner. This is a dark brown one. You can use black, anything where you're going to be able to see the line that you draw out for the shape that you're going to be grooming. And so then after that, I'm going to just show you really quick how I like to fill in my brows from day to day. By no means am I expert. My brow routine actually changes from different stages of like my eyebrow growth or whatever kind of look that I'm going for at that particular time. So feel free to use what you have on hand, play around with the products that you have. I feel like when I first started filling in my eyebrows as part of my makeup routine, I thought that I didn't like the products that I had for my eyebrows, but it just turns out that I either was using them wrong or I figured out a way that I liked to use them. So it's all about trial and error. We definitely have time right now to kind of play around with our makeup, try some new things, fail a little bit, with the way that we like our eyebrows filled in. But I hope that you really like this video. I hope you learn a thing or two, and I hope that you all are able to stay safe and spend time with your loved ones. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. And before I forget, one thing that's going to be super helpful for you if you're going to be grooming at home are to pick up some eyebrow razors. I think they're rather inexpensive, and when we're able to do a little bit more regular shopping, you can find them at like Target or the drugstore. You can even pick some up on Amazon. They are actually like in a stick form with the small razor head, and they're really helpful to remove any hair. I like to use them for the top of my eyebrows and also for in between. The hair is a little bit more fine there and harder to get with the tweezers, so it's a really quick way to clean it up, give it a really sharp and clean finish, but also remove any of that hair. And so fortunately I didn't have that with me to show you today, but let's go ahead and get into the grooming tutorial, and I hope you learn a thing or two. So brows are groomed, and I'm just going to show you how I personally do my brows. And like I said in my last video, this brow product is a little bit newer to me since I've been transitioning over to cleaner products, and so it's more of a defining wax similar to like a dip brow pomade. But I have used lots of different pencils before in the past that are a little bit more on the traditional, like conventional beauty side. Totally up to your own preference, which form you like. I like this one. It's a little bit, like I said, newer, is a little bit of a learning curve, but I do find that it gives you a natural brow, and you can even go bolder if you want, if that is a look that you like. But feel free to use, just whatever it is that you have or whatever it is that you like. I feel like brow products are a very personal preference. So I'm just going to quickly show you how I do my brows. Normally, I think from day to day, my brows, I do them the same, whether it's like night out, date night, special occasion versus normal day to day. I like a polished brow, nothing too bold. A little bit natural looking, but I mean, really nice brows aren't like super natural looking unless you're super blessed. But yeah, this is just what I typically do on the day to day. And I mean, honestly, I'm not too upset with how they turned out. I didn't make any big mistakes when I was grooming them, but you can see that there's like a general shape, and that's why I laid out kind of like my own, you know, stencil, I guess, when I was shaping them in the grooming section. So I always start off with spooling them upwards and kind of combing the hairs with the towards the direction that I want them to go. And then I go ahead and I pick up my product, which is this angled brush and the defining wax. And a little bit goes a really long way with this product. So a lot of times I can only dip in like once for both brows, or maybe even just to do a little bit of a thicker brow too. But you know, it's up to you to go ahead and play with it and see what you like. But I always start from the middle towards the end and then work my way to the front. And you know, honestly, depending on what stage of growth my brows are in, I'll start, you know, from the top or from the bottom, or it really does depend. But I think that you can kind of get a general outline of your shape that you want or that you're working with if you start from the middle. And so I just kind of brush the product on the brush through, and I would actually do the same if I had a brush. I'm sorry, not a brush, a pencil. I would start in the middle, thicken out that outer tail just a little bit. I don't have a super defined arch on top, and I find that if I like carve it out, it actually looks kind of funny, but I do like it to be a little bit more straight on top. So I just roughly fill that in a straight line and then come downwards. And I make the shape, like the angle shape, with the direction of my brush, but as you could probably see a little bit, I don't like, you know, draw on a corner to create that arch. Yeah, I don't really like that too much of a defined look. And then what's nice about the spoolie is when you have too much product or you need to soften it up because it looks a little bit too harsh, you can go ahead and just diffuse the product, and the spoolie is perfect for that. So I have a good amount of shape there, and then I normally just whatever is left on the brush from what I picked up, or I kind of just like play with it on the back of my hand to see how much product I'm working with. Then I go in with the front. Again, a really defined front end of my brow doesn't look super good on me. I don't really like it. So then I just take whatever is left. And then if I were to do this with a pencil, I take a super, super light hand and almost come at my brow from the top. And then I just really like lightly feather strokes at the front so it doesn't look like I have any bald spots. And so it's a lot of like upward, like feathery brushing motions that I do with this. And you know, this would be the same kind of concept with a powder too, because you would typically use a brush that looks similar to this. So just if you like that natural look, that's what I recommend doing. And you have a little bit more control, and it's kind of like if you don't have enough product, it's easy to add on, or if you put too much, then it's easy to catch really quick and then just kind of blend out with the spoolie. And so going on to the other eye, starting with the middle and going outwards. I have a little bit more, I guess, baldness like on this little corner. I don't know if you can tell, or not baldness, I guess sparse hairs. And they have a, like I said, with this, I think I said it in my last video, with this product, they have a lot of really great colors in their range, like pretty standard, you know, necessities, but even like they have like a warmer one if you have redder hair. Their taupe is I don't know what the name of like their more taupey shade is, but it's really nice. I picked up this one because when I was shopping for a new product, I'd typically go a little bit more ashy gray brown with my brow products. But I've been looking through wedding pictures, and my makeup artist had gone a little bit darker and like more of like a chocolatey color with my brows, and I loved the way that they looked on that day, so I was trying to go for that again. And this was a pretty even match. I think she used Anastasia on mine, the powder, but I can't remember which shade she'd used. But it was just enough for my wedding day to look like a little bit special, but definitely wearable. So and honestly, when I'm not an expert on shopping for your your brow color shade when you're going and shopping for eyebrow products. I would just say just really kind of play around, see what your preference is. I typically like a little bit of a darker brow, and then like I said, sometimes I lean a little bit more ashy. I don't like warm, like anything that's too warm. But everybody's skin tone and hair color and, you know, matching their hair color to their brow color, like there's so many different ways that you could do it. It's all up to personal preference. All right, so just finishing up with those strokes, and you know, I've kind of gotten over the idea that I'm trying to get my eyebrows, both eyebrows, to look the same. It just hardly ever happens. So just take them one at a time, and if they look, you know, somewhat natural and similar to each other. I think I've heard that, you know, someone say that your brows are cousins. They are not twins, or they're not sisters, something like that. But I think it's really true, and it's not anything to fuss over, because just they can take too much time if you let them. So that is typically how I fill in the brows with that defining brow or defining wax. And then I just go through with any kind of gel and comb them through and set them in place, brushing them upwards so that they have a little bit more volume, and it kind of matches in line with the way that I had like groomed them. I did everything with like an upward upward stroke, I guess, when I was grooming them. So I kind of wanted mirror that, because that's the way that I cut them or groomed them. Okay, and so I am actually looking for a dupe for the Anastasia brow gels. Those are so good. So that is something that is on my list to transition and try and find something similar for. All right. Okay, so that's how I do my brows. As you can see, it's, you know, it's pretty natural, definitely defined, and it's a shade that I personally like, and it goes, you know, well from like my day-to-day, and then this is what I do for special occasions as well. So I hope that you like this video, and thank you so much for watching again, and I will see you next time.